So speedsters, since The Flash is back literally this week in a couple of days, I thought I'd go over the latest couple of synopsises and some other news. So let's dive straight into this video. I don't know what that was, but let's just go. So speedsters, welcome to a brand new Flash Season 5 video. So essentially, since, The Flash is back in a couple of days, I was thinking of maybe making an Arrow video, but I kind of want to wait for the extended trailer, just to any Arrow fans watching this video, because I'm guessing if you watch The Flash, there's a good chance you might be watching Arrow on this channel as well. And since The Flash got an extended trailer, I'll probably be doing an Arrow video whenever that comes out, since obviously Arrow comes out a little bit later. But essentially, the other side of things is that you may remember the big old kerfuffle with the trailer we got after the crossover. Essentially, the trailer for the next episode showed, Barry and Iris seemingly going to the Flash Museum and all that stuff. And then we got another trailer and it showed the whole Fast and Furious stuff with Weather Witch and Silver Ghost and everything like that. And then, everyone was wondering, including all us YouTubers and everything like that, just thinking, is this in the same episode? Some people were saying it wasn't, but then, I was leaning more towards that, and then I leant away from it. They didn't advertise it as, here are some future scenes from The Flash returning January 5th, all that kind of stuff. It's literally like, The Flash, The Fast and Furious, returning January 5th. It was that kind of advertisement. And I have to admit, I am a little bit, I'm not annoyed, but it's just a bit, I want to say kind of annoying. Because essentially, when you do kind of show a trailer like that, it is a bit like, okay, so we've got a few episodes to go till we get to the cool stuff. And that is essentially what we're going over in this video, guys, because we have a synopsis for the next two upcoming episodes of The Flash. Well, not actually just this one, but going all the way up to January 29th, where it actually goes into details of all of that stuff we saw in the trailers. But also other good news is, guys, that Jesse L. Martin, who plays Joe West, will be returning. Some of you may be in the loop, some of you may be out of the loop, but in case you haven't been fully aware, he's been missing. He's been missing for a while. We have spoke about this before at the beginning of the season. He was sat down quite a lot of the time, and that's because he had a back injury. The actress Danielle Nicolette, he plays Cecile, uploaded an Instagram video, and I'm just going to go ahead and play that for you guys right here, right now.
I don't know. What's going on? Hi. Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Look who's here!
But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the synopsises. I really need to nail down that word. And actually, I want to give my opinion on a couple of things that are said, especially that whole Reverse Flash suit in the future kind of thing. I've got a theory on that. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it would be really cool if this idea kind of happens. So stick around to that point in the video when we get to that, and I think that's the second synopsis. But anyway, so this synopsis is for The Flash, seeing red. So this is for Tuesday, January 21st. It's not the upcoming episode, The Flash and Furious. So this goes as follows, and you may recognize some of the stuff from the recent trailers we have seen, like the extended trailer where Nora wakes up, without feeling her leg. So anyway, Cicada severely injures Nora. During a battle with Cicada, Nora is severely injured. Due to Cicada's dampening powers, Nora's speed healing isn't working, leaving Barry and Iris scared for their daughter's future. Upset about his injured child, the Flash is filled with rage and confronts Cicada in a brutal battle. Meanwhile, Killer Frost keeps interfering with Caitlin's work on the cure. So this is quite eye-opening stuff in one way and in another way. So let's break this down bit by bit. Essentially, during a battle with Cicada, Nora is severely injured. So you'd have to put that down to the parts in the trailers where we've seen that they're kind of in that alleyway. It seems all of Team Flash get wiped out, including the Flash himself and, Ralph Dibny. I can't remember if Cisco is there. I think Killer Frost. Either way, everyone's on the floor, and that's where we see Barry Nora, and he's crawling over to her, and she's KO'd, and then you would have to assume she wakes up. And that is when she's like, I can't feel my legs. And, we've seen the extended trailer. It shows a lot of cool stuff in that. And this is, at the same time why everyone was like, surely all of this can't be happening in one episode. So anyway, that's going to suck major time. It is a callback. I knew it felt familiar to back in season 2 when Barry went through a similar thing. But it's interesting because the whole power dampening dagger thing means that she a speedster healing isn't working. Or it just might be... really, this probably is it, something similar to what happened to Cisco. If you remember, just a slice on the hand or whatever it was with Cisco, he couldn't vibe properly for quite a while because of the dark matter, or like the little mattery kind of things from the dagger, if you know what I mean, were kind of in his bloodstream or something like that. So I'm thinking it's something like that. But you know, S.T.A.R Labs will have something to sort that out. I'm very confident about that. It's not like Nora's going to be paralyzed for a long time. As for the whole upset about his injured child, the Flash is filled with rage and confronts Cicada in a brutal battle. Essentially, that goes back to that point in the trailer where we saw Barry trying to like knock Cicada out with a with a bar chair by the pool table. He gets wrecked. He tells Killer Frost to stand down, but I think she's gonna get involved when he gets his ass whooped. And yeah, I like that line anyway from Cecile in the trailer where she was like, you know, don't become what Cicada has become, because what happened to his daughter, in a way, if that makes sense, even though Grace isn't really his daughter, turned him into something ugly. Don't let something, you know, due to happening to your daughter turn you ugly too. But it turns out he will throw a little bit of a hissy fit, understandable, and get his ass whooped. But yeah, the last bit of this synopsis is, of course, Killer Frost keeps interfering with Caitlin's work on the cure. It was pointed out to me by somebody in my comment section. I'm really sorry, I cannot remember for the life of me, but they pointed out essentially that they're probably working on a cure, because I couldn't think of a very good reason like this one beforehand. And they suggested that essentially it might be for Caitlin's father. And I was like, of course, that makes sense. Maybe this isn't about curing metahumans, maybe, and stuff like that. People who don't want to be metahumans, or maybe forcing it upon criminals or something like that to take away their powers. Maybe this is just about curing Caitlin's dad. For whenever he might return, possibly in the back half of the season. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe Killer Frost is getting involved because I don't think she's like, oh, Caitlin shouldn't, you know, come up with a cure, blah, blah, blah. There could be a little bit of that, but I think she might think, oh, our dad hasn't been there for us, so even cure or no cure. And even if he does go back to being good old dad after the cure, it's not like we knew him anyway. I can just imagine Killer Frost having a bit of a issue with not caring about it, and Caitlin's all optimistic like, but we could get to know dad again, blah 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 blah. But that's the first synopsis. Let's move on to the second synopsis, which contains a lot of stuff that I have been excited about in the next few trailers, and that is Flash memorabilia spoiler description. I'm getting all of this off Flash TV News, by the way. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description if you want to see these yourself. So this synopsis is as follows. Barry and Iris look into Nora's memory. So when Sherlock wants to use a memory machine on Barry and Nora to help gain access to Grace's memories, Nora panics, fearing her parents will find out the secret she's been keeping from them. Nora secretly decides to use the machine on her own, which ends in disaster after she gets trapped inside Grace's mind. Barry and Iris go in after their daughter, and Iris is heartbroken by what she finds. Meanwhile, Ralph tricks Cisco into going out for a night on the town. Okay, so starting from the top. So this is what I've been most excited about. You know, we were all wondering, and I think quite hesitant afterwards. You know, initially we all thought maybe it was actual genuine time travel, which is kind of really cool to think about. But then there were suggestions about what if it's a vibe, or what if it's something else. And it's like, oh man, but I really want them to be there. But, you know, either way, it is almost just as good to me. I'm actually happier that it's not a vibe and that they're actually going into Nora's mind here. That's what's really cool. And I love the riskiness of this. I really, really do. I think that's what makes this just as interesting as the time travel. So, okay, sure, they're not actually going there into the future where their daughter's on the floor reading that comic book in the Flash merch shop, the gift shop or whatever. But they're actually going to be in a mind which you could argue is unprotected or something, and they could find out about the reverse Flash and all that jazz. Now, even though they're traveling to a part where Nora's a kid, so there won't be anything too guilty, I'm imagining, that they will see, they might still get up clues. That's what I'm very excited about. They still might get clues of maybe a younger Eobard Thawne manipulating a younger Nora into trusting him, which is why we're all asking ourselves, why would Nora work with the arch nemesis even though she didn't know that he killed, you know, her grandmother, you know, Nora Allen? You still have to beg the question as to why work with him anyway? Was it just simply out of desperation that he's the only person who could teach her to go back in time? There seems to be more of a sentimental, which would be very interesting connection there between the two, and that would have been possibly from a younger Eobard Thawne, i.e., even though I don't think this is the thing, as a curator of the Flash Museum or something like that, and, you know, Nora naturally spent most of her time there. So anyway, this is interesting. That explains the whole Grace stuff in the trailer as well. You see, like, Grace, like, up and then like screaming and then loads of stuff is popping. I thought that might have been actual reality, but that could be within her coma. So that's really cool. But I mentioned a little theory earlier, and this is what makes me very, very intrigued. I'm not saying this is definitively going to happen. It's just what I could imagine writing in, which would be pretty cool. In the trailer, we see that Barry and everyone are like hiding behind a counter in the gift shop or something, and we see the Reverse Flash coming in with a mask under the mask. It's like a black face concealing mask under the Reverse Flash suit. Now, I titled my video, what if this is an earlier version of Eobard Thawne? And then lots of people saying, oh yeah, but it might be like an animated mannequin or something like that. Or what if it's something protecting the Flash Museum? And I thought, I get that. That does make sense. But I think that's just such a shame, and it would be lame to a degree. I know things like this are a thing in real life. Like, we have scary things from actually things that were effed up in previous history. I don't know, just to like scare customers or something like that. So the whole thing of me saying, why would they get the Reverse Flash, people to dress up as him, or even a robot to protect the museum, to go around patrolling, I think that's a bit disrespectful of everything and all the harm the Reverse Flash has done. But then again, go back to the previous point of what I just said, entertainment, blah, blah, blah. He's a boogeyman or a bogeyman, whatever way you want to say it. But then there's the other side of things. Since they're in Nora's mind now, bear with me, what if this is actually the Reverse Flash, but the reason why he's got, you know, like the fabric, the black fabric over his face underneath is because Nora's mind is protecting, you know, her father and anyone who's poking in her mind from finding out the true identity under that mask. What if it's like a defense mechanism like that? Because, well, as I just said, she doesn't want Barry or anyone going into her mind, which is what they're doing to try and, you know, get her out of this whole mind machine thing. Is a way of still concealing the Reverse Flash's identity. The only reason I'm saying that, and the only reason this appeared to me, and it is stretched, you know, quite, you know, far stretch, is because, you know, remember when he was just like, I wonder what face I'll be wearing next time we meet Flash. You could argue the version of Eobard who, you know, maybe got Nora's trust as she was growing up might have looked a bit different. And yes, you may be asking, but Boba, why does Eobard look like what he looks like in Iron Heights if this is the case? Exactly. I'm not sure. Add your own, you know, insert your own logic on top of my theory here. I just want it to be something like that interesting rather than just a mannequin going around, you know, the Flash Museum and protecting it. That's just a bit like, oh, okay. Not really cool, to be honest. I prefer that much more than a freaking reanimated mannequin. I don't know about you, but let me know your thoughts on that. Obviously, it's a very unfinished theory, just an idea. Would be much better than probably what we were gonna get, which is a freaking robot patrolling the museum. I don't know. Now, as for Barry and Iris go in after their daughter, and Iris is brokenhearted by what she finds, I think that is very self-explanatory, just from the sense of that scene in the extended trailer where we see Iris looking at their daughter, and I've said it myself. I would be heartbroken if this was me. It's still heartbreaking to think about. That's where she spends all her time. And I think that is going to really bring Iris down. And I think that's really going to hit me in the feels when I watch this episode. And I'm really looking forward to that. And lastly, everybody, you know, meanwhile, Ralph and Cisco, you know, basically going out in town again. Haven't we heard that one before? But other than that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. The Flash is back Tuesday, which is tomorrow, I think. So make sure you look out for my review, I believe early Wednesday or whatever. So subscribe with notifications on if you're brand new to the channel. Click the like button. It really does help this channel if you do that. It just helps the videos get out there a bit more. Join my Discord server where we talk about everything and anything to do with all of this kind of stuff. Links are in the description down below as always. Same to my social media and everything like that. But thank you so much for watching, Species. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.